What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new football news video, and I will report to you guys what the Premier League clubs have decided today on their usual Friday meeting conference call. So finishing the season in a 40-day window was one of the scenarios discussed at the Premier League meeting on Friday. BBC Sport is reporting that Premier League clubs are committed to completing the season, but there is a very vocal part of football fans that want the season to just be scrapped, to be null and void. But those people, I have no idea what they are talking about, because in France 243 million euros are not paid to the clubs by the broadcaster, beIN Sports and Canal Plus. The two big broadcasters are refusing to pay out the broadcasting revenues to football clubs because the season was ended early. And in the Premier League, that figure could be 860 million euros. And also, we will have a very big report from a Premier League owner today, reported by Sky Sports, that if football doesn't resume until this health crisis is over, then 90% of football clubs will go bankrupt and they will cease to exist. Because even if football clubs release 95% of their employees, they will still go bankrupt because they have to pay the wages of the players, because they have legally binding contracts, so they can't just not pay the players. And if football waits until next year to resume, then basically 90% of clubs will go bankrupt, even in the Premier League where there is a lot of money. But in lower leagues you can expect that figure to be even higher. So lots of very interesting new information for you guys in this video. So if you enjoy these, please leave a like. And if you are excited about the Premier League clubs saying that they are committed to completing the season, and clubs were expected to debate a June 30 deadline to end the season, but instead discussed possible scheduling models. So if you are excited about the Premier League season being finished, hopefully in the summer, and hopefully in June or July, Liverpool will be crowned champions. That is a very, very big possibility now, because I just can't see the Premier League being able to afford taking losses like 860 million euros, which will be the figure that the Premier League will lose if they cancel the season. And that is just so much money that the Premier League clubs and the whole Premier League just can't afford to do that. The Premier League said it remains our objective to complete matches, but currently all dates are not certain, not final. And today's Premier League shareholders meeting provided an opportunity to discuss possible scheduling models, because the Premier League club said it remains our objective to complete the season, but at this stage all dates are tentative while the impact of this illness develops. But there is a lot of different, very difficult problems with the season being extended, and I think it should be extended until it's safe to finish the season, and you shouldn't start next season until you finish this one, in my opinion. The contracts of many players expire on June the 30th, including those of Chelsea midfielder Willian, Tottenham defender Jan Vertonghen, just to give you two examples. And the world governing body FIFA is looking at this, and they are discussing a scenario where you could have an extended 2 or 3 month rolling contract until the season is officially finished. And in a BBC Sport vote on how the season should be dealt with, which is very frightening if you think about it, 39% of voters said that they wanted the season to be declared the null and void. So basically, the season never happened. I mean, it just absolutely blows my mind how this many football fans and this many sports fans can seriously think that's a good solution, that's a good idea. I mean, clubs, players, fans put so much effort, so much time, so much money into this season. The season is almost completed. 80% of the season is already over, it's already completed, and you just want it null and void like it didn't happen. And the repercussions, I mean, do you really want 90% of Premier League clubs to be bankrupt? I cannot understand this logic, honestly. And only 28% of the voters said that they want the season finished, no matter how long it takes. I think the rest of the voters probably wanted the season to be cancelled and maybe the places awarded, like in France. But even in France, there is the danger of like the TV broadcast companies not paying the clubs in the league, and then how will those clubs survive? It's a very premature decision, I think, in France that they ended the season so early, because there are numerous lawsuits now going because Lyon, for example, who are in 7th place, but they were in 5th place just one round before the football was suspended. Lyon could be missing out on European football for the first time in 26 years, and they are suing the French Football Federation, and they are suing the government as well for basically cancelling and ending the season so early, because Lyon feel that they should have finished the season in August or in September, whenever it's safe to do so, before starting the new one, so you can have a full season completed. You can argue whether that's right or wrong, but the courts will decide what is the conclusion of that situation. But I'm just giving you another example of why you shouldn't really finish the season early, because you put many clubs in danger, really. So Lyon could be without European football for the first time in 26 years, which is a huge deal, especially because they are 1-0 up against Juventus in the Champions League last 16 tie, and also they are in the cup final against Paris Saint-Germain, I think in the French League Cup. But if they win that cup final, they will still qualify for Europe, but they can't qualify through the league placings because they finished, I mean, they are in 7th place right now, and because France cancelled the season, they can't finish higher. And the club owner came out with a very big interview on Sky Sports, and he said this: no one will be forced to play, no player will be forced to play, it will be ultimately the player's decisions. If a player doesn't want to play, it will be their call. The Premier League club's owner said, there is no desire to end the season at this time, we want to play the games, there is a great will to play the games, we simply can't afford to not play, but nothing will be done without government approval. If we wait for a vaccine, or if we wait for herd immunity, it could be 18 months without football, and 90% of clubs will go bankrupt, they will go bust. Even if we sacked 95% of our employees, we would still go bankrupt, because we will still have to pay the players' contracts. And I think this is the biggest issue. Like, if you just wait until it's safe to play football, like, I mean 100% safe, then you are waiting 18 months. You are waiting until next spring, next summer, a whole 18 months. And that is just too much, in my opinion. Like, no club, honestly, almost no clubs can survive that. Maybe only the biggest ones, but still, even there, they probably have to sack a lot of people. And I think we need to find a way to play football again in a safe environment. I mean, there are loads of other businesses and other jobs that have to find a way to function in this time. And it's a very difficult time, I know, for everyone, and the health and safety of everyone is the most important. But you just can't say football is not important, don't allow football at all. It's a very big part of many people's lives and livelihoods, and also it's very important for many people's mental health, because football fans need something to look forward to. And if you say there will be no football this year, and who knows when football will return, many people will suffer a great deal because of that. And also the other option, of course, is to cancel the season and to just award the title, the places and the relegation and the top 6 places, the European places, on a points per game ratio or on how the league is currently. But the big problem is with that is that in France there is a report that beIN Sports and Canal Plus is refusing to make TV rights payments to the French Football League following the definitive end of this season, and that means that the whole French league will miss out on 243 million euros, which is a huge amount of money. But just to put into context how much it is for other leagues, in the Premier League that figure is 860 million. So if the Premier League is cancelled, all the clubs and the league will miss out on 860 million pounds, 60 million euros, sorry. In La Liga it will be between 500 to 600 million euros. In the Serie A it could be between 350 400 million euros, and in the Bundesliga, if you cancel the season, the Bundesliga clubs will miss out on also 300 to 400 million euros. So remember these figures before you make conclusions if the league should be cancelled or not, if the league should be null and void or not. Because I think these amounts of money, the clubs just cannot survive without this amount of money, honestly. So if you take this into account, I think the most sensible option is to just wait until it's safe to play football and then do it with taking the necessary precautions and preventative measures, so no player, no staff gets infected, and play the games. Even if you have to play the games in August or September or October or whenever, just wait until the curve is flattened and then play the games. Because every other scenario, massive amounts of revenue is lost for the clubs, for the players, for everybody connected to football, and that's not a good solution. I mean, how will French clubs survive without those 243 million euros? That's now a big question, and many clubs will have to release players, many clubs will have to release staff, and everybody suffers. And for what? Because in 2 or 3 months in France it could be safe to play football again. Why not just wait until then, finish the season when it's safe to play football, and then amend next season, make next season shorter, maybe eliminate one of the cup competitions. I mean, Craig Birdley, the pundit at ESPN, former Premier League player, former Scotland international, said that the Premier League should award European places on a points per game basis, make Liverpool champions, they should have no relegation, they should have promotion from the Championship, and also an increased number of teams for the Premier League for just 1 year, for next year. No League Cup, and he wants no FA Cup replays as well, just for 1 year. And this is one of the scenarios reported to be discussed between the Premier League clubs. And he says, Craig Birdley, that this is now the best one of the bad solutions to this problem. Another problem is that many Premier League players are scared for their own health and safety, and also for the health and safety of their families. So that's why, in my opinion, it's the best way to just put everybody in a hotel and just isolate them for just 4 or 5 weeks until the season can be completed. Test everyone before they go to that hotel, and just get the players and the staff and everybody required to a game just to travel from the hotel to the game and then back to the hotel, and just do it for 4 or 5 weeks if necessary. And that way you can prevent players infecting others and other people infecting the players and all the staff that is required to play the Premier League games. But let's hear what Sergio Aguero had to say in an interview he did in Argentina. He said the majority of players are scared because they live with their children and families. I'm scared, but I'm with my girlfriend here and I'm not going to be in contact with other people. I'm locked in my house. The only person I could infect is my girlfriend. They are saying that there are people that have it and I don't have any symptoms, but they still infect you. That's why I am here at home. Maybe I have the illness and I don't even know. And that's a very interesting interview. He also said he's quite nervous, and he and his teammates will be extra careful when they have to play football again. When one person is ill, we will think, oh, what's happening here? I hope a vaccine will be found soon and this all ends. And BBC Sport is reporting that if Premier League training is resumed before social distancing rules are relaxed, then players will be tested twice a week, every week, and they will also be screened and watched for symptoms every day. So if one player gets symptoms, he can get tested right away. They should do it in an isolated camp. Gary Neville had a very interesting suggestion to move the whole Premier League operation to a foreign country where there is almost no or very few cases of the illness, and just complete the Premier League there. But the crucial thing is, he didn't say which country he is thinking about. This is what he said: if the Premier League are really serious about delivering the matches that remain in a safe environment, they would move it to the 2 or 3 spots that are within 3 or 4 hours of this country that are virus free. They would take the Premier League players, broadcasters and media over. They could quarantine and self-isolate for a week or 2 and then deliver the Premier League games in an environment that has proven that it can handle this virus. There are a couple of hotspots in Europe that haven't got the virus, which could handle the Premier League finishing. I mean, why is he calling them a hotspot then? If they don't have the virus, I don't understand. In this country, in England, I'm not sure they can deliver it with the amount of cases which are around, especially with the amount of movement out there and the logistical issues. I'm not sure they can deliver what they want to do. And Matt Lawton, another journalist, said this: I think the 14 clubs, the majority vote principal number needed for any vote to be passed, would become irrelevant in this situation. If one club decide they don't want to play, I think it would be incredibly hard to argue against. If a club doesn't want to play, they have a very strong argument, especially if we go to neutral grounds. The first argument is the most obvious one, and that's the safety of their players and their staff. If one club and their players are not happy about playing and their safety cannot be guaranteed, I can't see how it can be guaranteed. Then one club could very legitimately argue against restarting the season. Secondly, is the neutral venues idea. It's inevitable that it is the only way they are going to finish the season, and there is a very legitimate argument against that. The integrity of the competition is too far a departure from what they all signed up for in August. I think if one club decides if they don't want to play, I don't see how they can be forced into it, and it would be the end of the situation and the season would have to be cancelled. I understand if we start it too early, if we start it in May, but what if we start it, resume the games in June or July, when the situation will be much better? Nobody is asking footballers and the football clubs to play right now. They are being asked to play in 1 or 2 months' time, or maybe even later. So yeah, let me know, guys, what do you think about all the talking points, all the arguments that we made in this video. Let me know in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Goodbye.